Hello, and welcome to the Spiral Dimension. I'm Doctor Von Hoot, and this is the Parliament of Mowls. But first, the loner was not going toward the street. He had wanted to, but the way was blocked by a group of startled and frightened students. He swerved and clattered.
Amen.
Well, yeah, I mean, I learned something from that. That was special stuff.
Yeah.
I am on my phone again, so you'll see my hand floating around here.
Don't you think that's kind of weird? Not weird, but like exciting weird.
And we have one more if it decides to add you. Boom.
It's
There
definitely
we go.
weird.
Oh, it's very weird. This phone thing is not so good for that. It's not great for the internet. This thing, it's like I'm CJ all of a sudden.
Whether that
I do
the mail.
exactly. I do declare this episode of Parliament open.
You're right.
Bravo.
How are we doing tonight, gentlemen? All good?
Oh.
Thanks for coming.
Smashing.
It's always a pleasure.
Excellent.
Let's have a quick look in the chat, shall we? Wouldn't you know it? It's Las Cruces
Yeah.
and Tony.
Mm.
That's it. So that was quick. I like it.
You said a quick look
Straight
at the
to the
comments.
point. Yeah, exactly. I did not lie. Knocking my camera.
Mouths never lie. Mouths never
Oh
lie.
no. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. Okay. Yes. I feel like we should get on with our usual roundup first of all. No slides again, because again my computer has decided to annoy the hell out of me. So what's you with your eyeballs this week, Mike?
A show called Dan to Dan. I don't know if anybody knows about that, but it's like the current craze in anime right now. It's interesting and fun. Aliens, UFOs, and paranormal ghost stuff mixed together, so it's kind of a weird entourage. But yeah, Dan to Dan. I watched the first episode of the new Dune Prophecy. It's pretty good, setup and story. Trying to think. I think that's it. Kind of. Not a lot. No, that was a week ago. Never mind. Yeah.
Is that on Netflix?
Dan did it. I'm watching it on Crunchyroll, but I do know it's probably on Hulu because it's usually like simulcast together.
Right. In that case, it's probably on Disney Plus over here. I'll have a look because I fancy a new anime.
It's
To be
good.
fair, though, I haven't finished One Punch Man yet, so I need to do that first. But
That's short. That's
yeah.
one of those nice, like, because
Yeah,
that's the
it
big
is.
problem with anime is some of them are like extensively long, and it's hard to get somebody into. Hey, watch One Piece, and it's like 1,000+ episodes. So it is
All the
good to have
episodes.
it is good to have like a nice contained one season, anime every now and then. No, but Dan Dan Dan, it's getting hype on a couple things, like the theme song for the show. I don't know how many different like mock-up or cover, like I've seen English covers of it. I've seen like every language you can. No, it's getting hype. Pretty much like Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia. It's kind of like the next thing.
Right. Cool. I really should have a look. Yeah.
I can tell you the
Yeah.
premise. The premise
Yeah.
might sound interesting or weird. Like, it's about a boy and a girl that meet, and they're both trying to like explain why their fan base is the better one girl is into like paranormal stuff, and she's in a family that deals with all that. Her grandmother is like a tarot reader or something like that, and then the boy is he's into UFOs and robots and stuff like that. So they both, to convince the other that that their fictional universe is better, they take them to like a destined place. They go to like a haunted house, and they go to like a site where like UFOs are supposed to appear. And in both scenarios, they do appear, like ghosts and crap appear, and the girls have to contend with that. And then they go to the UFO, and the UFOs end up being the bigger and harder problem kind of thing. No, but during that, like his junk gets stolen.
Ouch.
Like yes, mysteriously. So the whole plot of the show is them trying to get to figure out who took the junk, and how they're going to get it back. But that's like the comedic part of the show, because manga they have to throw some comedy in there. It's really interesting. It's very fun. I want to say the third episode got me in the teary eyed zone, and we're 3 episodes into a brand new story. I mean, you just talk about the storytelling. It's phenomenal. That's what I watch with my eyeballs.
Did you say 3 episodes in, Teary?
Yeah.
That's impressive. I'll definitely put that higher up the list now, because
that's like One Piece. Even though One Piece, it's hard. That first season is hard for me to get people to watch. I mean, but because I'm not a pirate guy. I mean, yeah, Johnny Depp is okay. He's cool, but that's kind of a one-off. I don't know. No, but One Piece is definitely my favorite. But it's more the storytelling. It's you getting into the characters and that kind of stuff. Like my favorite beats in One Piece are some of the low ball, like just hidden stuff that they in the background about those characters that ongoing. Like one of my favorite characters, he's really bad with directions. They tell him, they're like, from here to here, that's all you have to go, and somehow he gets lost in a straight line kind of thing. I love that.
Sounds awesome. I should give that a go. Okie doke. Then watch you with your eyeballs? Should we change things up, or should we keep going as usual in a circle? I don't know.
I say we change things up.
No, let's go. I like routine. Let's go with Tony still.
All right. So let me break it in 2 parts. Rewatch. I rewatched Terrifier 1 and 2 just because. I rewatched Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. Why not? New stuff I watched. I got to watch the season finale of Tulsa King. Absolutely amazing. Got to watch Transformers 1, and I watched the Super Slash Man, the story about Christopher Reeve. Highly recommend both of them, especially the Superman. Oh man, that really pulls the heartstrings. Learning a lot about him, the man, not the character he portrayed. That was awesome. And Transformers 1, I went into that with low expectations because I don't know, for some reason, I just was dealing with the old. You watched the original cartoon. There was no backstory, but they were more interested in selling toys than actually doing stories that continuity back in the 80s. But it was really good. I really loved it, and I'm going to try to watch it with my nephew, see if he likes it. And going forward, I finally got my D+ back, so I'm going to give Agatha a spin and see how it goes.
Cool. Quite a successful run then.
And I've watched more this week than I've read, so we'll go with that.
Fair enough. I mean, I really want to see that Christopher Reeve documentary. It came out of the cinema here, but it was quite a limited release, I think. Either that or it just completely went by.
I highly recommend it.
Right. Okay. And like you already know, I love Transformers 1. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Tulsa King, I'm about, I want to say about 4 or 5 episodes into the latest series. And it's been really fun. I like it. I just haven't carried on yet. Terry, what's you with your eyeballs this week?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, Rob mentioned Rivals, so I've been watching that. I had been watching that. I was obviously watching only Slabs earlier, but I only saw about 5 minutes of it because I had another one of those bloody power cuts, and it's only been it's only been the last 20 minutes that the electric's gone back on again. Something's fell down at the bottom of the road and snapped some wires. I'm amazed they got it mended so quickly. But
yeah, that is quick.
it was just a bit of wind.
Somebody important must have been affected.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Knowing this place, yeah.
More than likely, yeah, you're probably right. So therefore, because I was in the middle of watching the 5th episode of Rivals, but obviously that I was watching that while I was watching Slabs, and of course that turned off, and that was the end of that. But I'm glad Rob suggested it because it has been very good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I bet you guys get a little bit more out of it than we get out of it. But
yeah. Well, because the thing is, the person that wrote it, Jilly Cooper, she's actually in the 4th episode. But if you've never seen her, you wouldn't have known that. In the scene where they're in the restaurant, and she's reading the story to the guy.
Oh yeah.
That's not right. Well, to the left of over his shoulder,
the ladies that react.
Yeah, Jilly Cole, you did know, so yeah, so that was. Yeah. I thought that was quite good.
Well, I mean, it's just it's a great series, and I'm saying that sort of the layers of the British society. Obviously, we won't get some of those layers of that added element of it that you guys will get. But oh my goodness! And of course, as I've just said, have I not delivered? You will, by the time you get done, see just about everybody naked.
Yeah, there is a remarkable amount of nudity in it. It's not just nudity though. That like they're intimate scenes, as it were, rather than just like someone go to a shower or something. By the end of
little eyes wide shut.
Yeah, it is a little bit. I watched it all in one go, and by like about halfway through, I kept looking at my watch, being like, "All right, we get the point. Let's move on." If I'd done it in segments, I don't think it would have been quite so like, "Are we doing this again?" But
I honestly swear, every time my wife walked in the room while I was watching that series, that's what was on, was one of those scenes, and it was like she's like looking at me like I'm watching something else.
I completely believe that from seeing it.
The funny thing is, I mean, Danny Dyer, one of the actors that's in it, he's in a soap called EastEnders over here. I don't like him in that. He's also got a quiz show, and I don't like him in that. But in this, I can stand him. He's good. I think
it's easily the best performance of Danny Dyer's career, honestly, because. The guy is one note as can believe normally in stuff, but this is actually nuanced, and it's a real performance. I was blown away by him, honestly.
The funny thing was, I recognised the voice, and I thought, no, that can't be him, because he's dressed in a wig. Well, he's got a wig on, or say, and a moustache, because he doesn't usually look like that, does he? And now whether that's all, it's on. On Disney here, so there's on Disney Plus. But the funny thing is to see him in that, because he doesn't. I mean, it's either a wig or he's had his hair cut that way. I don't think that's his colour hair either, as well. And that moustache as well. He doesn't wear a moustache when he's in.
See, the moustache is legit. I listened to an interview with him the other day, and he was talking about how. He had a moustache for like 6 months just to really get into the role, and he really enjoyed having the moustache for some reason. Like he would see other people with moustache and start nodding at them, and for
I understand
that.
It's not. I mean, most of the time I've been watching comic YouTube channels, but I did one of the channels. Peter and James's channel there, One Good Scare. They mentioned Smile. They did one on Smile. So I bought that and I watched that the other night, and that's pretty good. I mean, I don't know whether it's because of my age or whatever it is, but I just don't get scared anymore by things. I don't know. It was,
Have you checked out the evening news?
Scary.
Yeah.
What's going on in here?
That's a good point.
Or more specifically, maybe start watching the American news.
Yeah, the news is pretty scary.
Well, yeah, the news. Real life is a damn sight more scary than any horror film.
Yeah.
Especially over the last few months, anyway. To say.
Real talk, that I want to say it's like once every 5 years, maybe a movie comes along that that has that potential to scare you, kind of thing. I want to say there's some great horror movies out there, but as far as them being outright scary, that's a different thing.
Yeah, because I mean, saw a lot of it coming. So, there was.
Yeah, Smile is pretty predictable and silly. Yeah. It's not one of my favorite. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine, but it's not one of my favorites of the more recent horrors.
There's a Smile 2 that's just come out, isn't there, or something?
The second one was a little less so. I don't know. Like, I know Travis liked it better than the first one, but for me, I kind of like the first one because the first one's a little more personal, and the second one's not so personal at all.
It's a good film in the sense that it's well acted. I mean, the girl that's being the main character there, sort of thing. I mean, she's well acted. It's very well made. Mm-hmm. So she's just. I wasn't. I was sitting there watching it more as a drama than a horror film, sort of.
Yeah, kind of more suspense, and it's not until they get to Smiley at the end of it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't that. Another thing I've been watching, and I'll probably upset everybody that's here, and probably all in the chat as well. I keep trying to watch Deadpool, 3. And I can't get it. I don't know what everybody's amazed about.
It's just fan service. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's a fan service. It's a farewell to the Fox universe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got basically no plot. So
no, and the plot that's there is pretty bad. Like,
I've got an hour into it, and I still.
It's a great film. I mean, you're talking about like.
It really depends on whether you're okay with it having no plot as to how much you get out of it. Like, I love it, but I can see why somebody wouldn't pretty easily.
Yeah. So, so that that was there. And the only other things I watch is obviously I don't know whether you've heard of it over there in America, but what's I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. I don't know whether the Americans have the same thing. But I mean, it's my little secret pleasure. I do record it so that I can go through the adverts because there are. I mean, I know in America they're damn sight worse, but over here they're getting longer and longer. I mean, and so I cut all that because now, I mean, what was once upon a time, I don't know, a 52-minute program. There was like 8 minutes of adverts within the hour. Now you're getting down to about a 42-minute program, very similar to the American way of things. It's getting ridiculous. So I always go through it, and there's lots of it I can't be bothered watching. I just watch the bits where they're eating the bad things, or whether they're doing the
trials. Yeah,
doing the trials. I mean, I tend to watch it for that.
Explain what this is.
It's a reality TV show where they ship a bunch of celebrities from the UK over to Australia and leave them in the jungle. They're monitored at all times. So it's still a reality TV show, and they have to do like tasks in order to get food.
Naked and afraid.
Yes, sort of. They generally speaking, do gross things and stuff that will scare them is the gist of it. The idea being that if they want to leave, all they have to do is say, "I'm a celebrity, get me out of here," and they'll be pulled from it. Yeah. Badger loves it. She's obsessed with it, so I watch it as well.
But there's, as I say, there's some of the trials. I mean, they get chucked into a room that's sort of like dark, and it's got spiders and all sorts of insects and everything else all crawling around it. And they've got to find these little gold stars that are in these boxes or in a hole in the wall. But when they put their hand in the hole in the wall, it could have frogs in it, it could have lizards in it, it could have crocodiles in it, it could have all sorts of stuff and everything else. Or they put their hands in stuff that they've got rotten old food they've thrown in there, sort of thing, pig guts and stuff like that, or rotten old fruit and that sort of stuff. And then there's other things where they eat really revolting things like like a pig's penis and
this sounds like Fear Factor.
A little bit of Fear Factor.
It's
a little bit of Survivor, a little bit of Celebrity.
Yeah,
I was going to say Survivor.
Yeah, all these things.
It's all fall into one. Yeah, it's one of the highest rated shows in the UK and has been for years. Yeah. I mean, like really.
This is the 20th. This is the 20th or 21st series.
21st series, blimey.
So it's either the 20th or 21st. Because when COVID was on, because they've done 19 in Australia, but they did 2 in Wales, in a cold castle, because they couldn't get over to Australia because of COVID. So they did 2 in the cold castle. So that wasn't quite as good as far as the scary bits. But the weird thing is, at the moment, when you're thinking about Australia being hot, I think they've had rain ever since they've been over there. Virtually every night it's been pissing down with rain. So they're not having very good Australian weather. But no, let's say I'd like to watch it. Let's say it's
TM Nerdy's mentioning Naked Attraction here. Yeah, that's another show over here. That's probably less popular, but it's fairly popular, and it's utterly bizarre to have it on TV. That's a dating show where you have I think it's 5 people, and they're completely naked behind a wall, and the idea is that they pick the person based on their naked body rather than like talking to them. It's utterly bizarre television, but it's on.
If it sells.
Yeah, give it a look. It's weird. It's weird that we created it. Like the Brits being traditionally not very, it's not. We're not well known for our nudity, I suppose, on TV. Although I guess in films to some degree.
I was about to say, don't y'all have like y'all have like forms of naked news, and y'all have forms of like all that's European.
Yeah,
not really British, but
Spain and Italy and all that kind of
thing. Yeah. It's still European.
It's funny basically, and you watch it and be like, does this work? No, it never does. But it's fun. Who doesn't like watch it? Who doesn't think that'd be an amusing TV show? I'd never go on it. Nobody would want to see it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But some of the people on it.
Yeah. In your defense, you're not looking for someone.
That's it.
Also true. I don't know that anybody on this show is really looking for someone, but
I'm definitely not.
Me, but not that way.
Okay. The premise is bizarre at the very least. But but they aren't all like model types. I mean, there are good-looking people on it. Don't get me wrong. There are people that resemble myself. Like that's
kind of nice. Though it's not all like physically fit looking people. Every now and then,
exactly.
Some average Joes.
There's some variety to it, if you see what
I like that, because it could get tiresome if everybody on there just look like straight up models. Or
and there's the odd ranging in length, as it were. like they are naked, like, so you see everything. It's quite like, whoa. This went somewhere.
On that show, the stereotypes always hold true.
You probably see it over there anyway. It would surprise me.
Who knows?
But yes, that's what I watched my eyeballs this week.
Okay,
Other
tremendous.
than a lot
Well,
of comic YouTube channels.
comic
mainly.
stuff. Yeah. Rob, what's you with your eyeballs this week?
Well, several things actually. Well, I guess it's sort of like 2 weeks because we didn't meet last week. No Parliament. It was a bank holiday or something. But
Yeah.
I watched Washington the Warrior, which was a documentary, an older documentary. I just finally got around to it on George Washington and his time from colonies working with the British Army to eventually, obviously, leading against the Redcoats and eventually becoming president of the United States. So kind of talk about mostly focused on his military career, and how he struggled to keep the Revolutionary Army together through many trials and tribulations, and lack of support from the interim American government at the time, who had no control. The states were all very individual and couldn't. Some of them didn't feel that they needed to contribute to the army because the fighting wasn't happening in their area, so to speak, and so caused a lot of issues, and a lot of how he really endeared himself to his troops, and how got the loyalty by even when other officers were taken off for winter. So he never left his soldiers. He was always there. He's walking around with them. He was always in the muck with them. He was often one of the few generals that would ride out in front in battle and often lead the charges and stuff. And despite how musket balls whizzing by his head and going through his jacket, and somehow miraculously
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It could have been it was like a 2-hour thing. It probably could have been at least 5 or 6 hours. I could have really gone into it.
Oh,
but
wow. Okay.
I think it would have been really intriguing. But
forgive my ignorance. Yeah. Are there photos from this era, or
no?
Is it all just reenactments?
Yes, reenactments and some paintings and stuff, but that's about it.
I realized there was no
1700
footage.
No, there's 1700.
But I just wondered. All right, okay, yeah, I don't know when.
Where did you watch it?
Yeah,
I
watched it. It was originally a History Channel documentary, but I watched it on Hulu. Where it came up in my feed because I have another Washington. It was just called Washington the Warrior.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a member of the Sons of the American Revolution, so I kind of interested in this stuff. There's another Washington series I've been meaning to watch.
I like history.
So I got down watching that. I watched Transformers 1.
Okay.
It was fine. I mean, it's better than, and here's where I'm about to really get shit on. It's better than the original Transformers movie.
Why so?
Because it has a plot.
Oh, there you go. See that
actually follows through. It has some logical progression. The original Transformers movie, in my mind, it's phenomenal. When I watch it, it's a horrid train wreck.
I love it. Oh my god!
But anyway, I mean, it's got moments that are fun, but overall, it's not a good movie.
It doesn't have a plot. You are right. I mean, it is just a string of action sequences together to sell toys. But
Transformers 1 was better. I didn't think it was great, but I know a lot of people who did, and that's fine. I didn't think it was bad either. If I'm putting it on the CGC scale, it's a 7580, somewhere in that range for me.
I mean, that's a pretty good score. I respect that.
Anything over 5, but even 5's
yeah, so it was there, and we're gonna watch it again anyways because my son wants to watch it. So his birthday's coming up, so we've already scheduled for on his birthday as a family. We're gonna fire it up and watch it again. I started watching a new series that came out called St. Dennis Medical, which is it's a mockumentary style show in the form of The Office and Parks and Rec, only in a emergency room, in an emergency room at a hospital, and it's really kind of there's very different.
Scrubs.
I never watched Scrubs really, but it's really much more. I like Parks and Rec and The Office. I mean, for that they're constantly bringing the camera around and talking to the camera and everything else, like they're doing a documentary. But the character types is like, because I watched The Office a little. I never really got into The Office, either the British version or the US version. For whatever reason, I never got. Parks and Rec, I got super into. And I can really easily take the various characters and replace it. Well, this is this character and this is this character type of mentality to it. Still waiting for it to really I can't say that it's really made me go, oh my God, this is must watch TV every week. It's just another show right now. Really, for me.
You're enjoying it, but not enough to like boast.
Yeah,
about
I'm enjoying it
it
enough to come back and watch it again.
Yeah.
David Allen Greer is in it as the
I know I've heard of it, so now it sounded
one of the
more
main
familiar.
characters. Yeah, but
Dave.
anyways, so I started watching that. I think it's about like 4 episodes in for the season thus far. And then the last thing was go ahead.
Is it the first season?
Yes. Yeah,
Brand
it's a
new.
brand new.
Right, okay.
It's a brand new
Brand new.
series. Brand new sitcom here in America on one of the main networks. So NBC.
Yeah, I think it's
So
like
right.
NBC.
Yeah, it is
I
because
think so.
if I watch it on demand on Hulu, I have to get the commercials. So I have
From
to actually add
NBC.
it. So instead, I have to add it to my recordings so I can fast forward through commercials.
Right.
And then the last thing I started watching, I guess maybe not in hindsight, as we were talking about Rivals, maybe I was missing the nudity. I don't know, but I decided to go back and I started rewatching True Blood. I haven't watched
True
it.
Blood.
I haven't watched it since it first
I
came
haven't either.
out. And it was up on my feed or whatever. So I powered through the first season this last week, and absolutely having seen it through once and knowing certain things, going back through it again, seeing a lot more of the foreshadowing that was done on certain things. I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
I was going to ask you that. Like, how was it on the rewatch after you knew?
Absolutely loving it still. Great. And what's cool is because it's, it's in our deep South. It's set, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of technology in it.
So
they're
it's
doing
still,
stuff. And so like, although you see like a TV and maybe it's not a flat screen TV, or you do see like one guy or Jason has an old tube TV in a cabinet, but then he's got a flat TV stacked on top of it. You totally expect to see that today. You see somebody with a flip phone maybe, and he's talking about he hates texting on the thing, but you go, I could still see people in the South, in the deep South.
I was about to say
with that. So it really just, and the cars are all pretty much nothing stands out at you. Like they're nondescript cars for the most part. So yeah.
I've got to remember that show exists because I never saw it, and it's long, isn't it? It's like 7 seasons, right?
Yeah,
It's 7 seasons. You'd love. It's a great show.
I mean, I came across it about 2 years ago. I think it was now. When I saw it on one of the whatever channel it was, and I couldn't.
HBO.
I mean, I think I powered through virtually all of the seasons, sort of thing, within about a month. I think I watched all of it. I think it was brilliant. And then I found there was some comics that went with it and some paperbacks.
There was originally based on a set of novels.
Yeah, I have the novels. I love True Blood so much. Like it got me to go get it, the novels and stuff. And I've heard there's such a disconnect with the fans from the novels to the show. But
I love
the show. I thought
it's not an adaptation, right?
It never is. I don't know why people take it like that. It's just a different.
Hey, this is what inspired us to create this, and
it's loosely based off of.
Obviously, there's elements of it where you sit there and you watch it, and you're like, man, this girl, why is she making some of the decisions she makes, or how quickly she progresses in some of her decision making to certain elements is pretty dramatic. How quick some of the stuff evolves, but at the same time, the key thing driving with her, of course, being is that she's psychic, or she has the ability to hear people's thoughts, and so for the first time when she's meets a vampire and she can't hear their thoughts,
Mm.
you really don't appreciate. I don't think anybody really appreciates how fatiguing it would be if everybody you were around every single day, you heard every single one of their innermost thoughts going, and to finally meet somebody when you're with them, instead of having to fight to try to keep those thoughts out, to all of a sudden just have silence without effort. How great and comforting that must feel. I mean, I think that because it's such a real thing, but it's so difficult for anybody to associate that it makes sometimes you go, why are you doing this? But but then if you step it back and really think about it for a second, you go, okay, you know what, that makes sense. I could see where you would make those leaps.
What I loved about it was the fact that it was so well acted, and even though there were people that you shouldn't really like in it, there wasn't anybody you could dislike. Even the evil
for the most part,
were great. So say,
yeah.
But I'm surprised Doctor Von Hoot hasn't watched it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
right up your alley, totally.
Yeah,
It's brilliant.
Providing I remember it exists, so it will get put on soon, because we're always looking for new things to watch, as it were.
Again, this is not a With Badger show.
No.
Yes, it is extremely rated R.
You will be intimately aware of Anna Paquin's every piece of her skin throughout this.
And her brother Jason and her. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of.
It sort of calms down as the seasons go on. That part sort of calms down a lot, doesn't it?
It does.
It does.
The first season.
Up until the 4. I mean, once they go to the club, it's still there, but
but
it's just not so much.
They don't bash you over the head with it. So it's saying,
they didn't. They didn't need that selling point.
I was gutted that it finished. So it would have been. It's really good.
But yeah, that's about it for me.
Tremendous. I have really not watched a lot. I've been catching up a lot on AEW because it's the pay-per-view tonight, so I need to make sure I'm up to date. Then Thursday night, I watched all of the Swamp Thing series again because I just had the itch, as it were. And it's still good. I can see where they had issues, and it does feel like it was cut short because, like, the story goes that it was commissioned for 13 episodes, cancelled after the first week, and they only put out 10 of those 13 episodes, or they never made the last 3. And you can sort of see that in the tail end, they felt like they were cutting budgets and stuff like that, because the first few episodes are phenomenal. I mean, they're really well produced and executed, like body horror type stuff, and it's a good watch. It's a real shame that it never carried on, or wasn't a series. Was a series and wasn't a movie. It sort of feels a bit like they probably should have made that a movie, and then it would have been a safer win, I think. But it holds up. There's some dubious acting, and the I guess it's all right to spoil it at this point, right? Like, it's there's a few characters from DC in it, like, plotted about, and they're great characters and stuff. But like, one in particular isn't executed as well as you would want them to be. Comes off a bit like a Power Ranger villain. In look, they probably could have spent some more money on that. That's spoiling it, but not spoiling it, because I don't want to say who it is.
No, I'd never bothered watching it because it finished, and and everybody said it finished on a cliffhanger of sorts.
It's not really even a cliffhanger. It's sort of it introduces one of the main villains right at the tail end, and you could see where they were supposed to go, and it's such a shame because that would have been great. I'd say still watch it, Terry. It's only 10 episodes, so why not?
What channel is that on now?
Good point. Over here, it's not at the moment unless you want to pay for it. Because I looked for it and I ended up buying the Blu-ray because it was £8 cheaper than
You get it on Blu-ray.
buying it.
I didn't know they brought it
Yeah,
out.
yeah, it's out on Blu-ray, but
Oh.
digitally it's about 18 quid, and it was a tenner on Blu-ray, so I just bought it next day.
Usually, when they only go those few episodes, they don't bother putting it on DVD, do they? They don't usually bother.
Ooh, that's interesting. Got a fourth season.
I'm still waiting for the third season to watch.
Over here, yeah. It'll be sooner or later. It'll turn up here.
Because I mean, I saw the second season.
I think
years ago. I think it was.
Yeah, it was a while. I think Swamp Thing. The reason they put it on Blu-ray, honestly, is it's pretty good quality. Honestly, like especially the beginning of it is very solid, but also it cost them a lot of money to build that swamp and stuff, so they needed to make their money back somehow. So trying to squeeze whatever they could out of it. So that's probably why they put it on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty much been it. Other than, like you said, stuff like I'm a Celebrity and all that sort of silliness.
Yeah.
Maybe there was something earlier in the week. Never mind.
Something I do want to watch, but it's just finished now. Is Frasier, the season 2? You know, the new Frasier that's on Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
it's finished. Now. I just paid for Paramount Plus for a month.
I've watched a couple of episodes of that, and it's pretty similar to the first season, honestly. Yeah. So there's barely any laughs to be had, but it's watchable. You know, I mean, it's not great, but at the same time, it's not so bad. I can't watch it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so. What's read you this week, Mike?
Not a whole lot outside of Stephen King and D&D stuff.
Okay.
Nothing to drop this week, I can say.
Yeah, I think that's going to be reoccurring because I've just thought about it as well.
I think, honestly, the last thing I think I read was Absolute Superman and Absolute Batman issue number 2. I think that's the last.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, last week. Cool. Terry, what's read you this week?
Well, sort of just the ones I showed in my video a couple of days ago. I've managed to get those read so far. Rocket Fellas, I enjoyed.
Oh yeah,
yes, that I really did enjoy. As Chris, the comic vet, was saying today when he was doing his, he was at where was it now? One of the comic stores. It was a comic store. Where was it, Rob? This comic store.
Oh,
Retro Rocket.
Yeah, no, not Retro Rocket. It's where he was today.
Oh, I don't know. I was asleep.
Yeah, no idea.
He had a line thing there that he was there as he got signed by Francis Manipool. He got some signed books, and where he was saying the same thing. You know, the best thing in the Rocket Fellas was the grandma, but seems a weird thing to say, really. If nobody's read it, I'm not going to ruin it for him. And then I read Geiger. That's still very, very good.
Cool.
Okay, and then the Action Comics. I love this story. They say it's so Silver Age, Bronze Agey. I really enjoy it. And the end of this story arc with World's Finest with Eclipso in it. And I haven't read Catwoman 70, but I want to show this cover because I love this cover. People saying it was like a young Gillian Anderson. And Chris,
I can see that.
Because Chris, the comic vet, actually agreed with me.
Yeah, I can agree.
It's a beautiful cover, that is. One of the best covers I've seen for a long, long time. But got the rest of them sitting there, but I haven't been able to read those yet. I've managed to start me Brave and the Bold. I've got them from 97 now through to the present day, or to 200 when it ran out. but I've actually started to read them now. So that was the I've got up to issue 112. So that was me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the old Green Lantern tale there, and a Silent Night tale as well. I haven't read the other two. I read the new story, if you like, with Mr. Miracle, but I haven't had a chance to read the old ones yet. And I'm just getting into these ones that I got from Comics Curing Cancer. The Captain Canuck or Canuck or whatever you pronounce it.
Yeah, Captain Canuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is quite fun. As I said, I'm into sort of like first 20 pages of this one, and it's real fun. And the other one that I got from Comics Curing Cancer, get the bloody thing out. There we go. This is the Amanda Connor cover. It was The Hunter. This is excellent. I really, really enjoyed the story. I hope they do it again, because the way it ends, or the way they talk about it, is as though there may be another one. I hope there is, because it was really, really good. I love Western stuff, and this is really nice.
I love that Amanda Connor cover. That was great.
Yes, beautiful cover. Got it on my wall. But
Tremendous.
But that's all I've read so far. I've obviously got about 14 odd books to go to clear up there. And I've just watched one of the guys on the video that shows the books that are coming out next week, and it scared the crap out of me, because virtually every single one of them, and he had 19 of them there, I think 2 of them I'm not getting, and he reckons there's a lot more, so there's at least 17 books next week.
Better clear your reading plate now to make room for all the new ones.
Exactly.
And while you're at it, go take out a loan.
Yeah.
It's 17, and I think there must be another 4 or 5 that he didn't show that I'll get in. So I'll probably be into the 20. So I will certainly be north of $100 next week. But yeah, no, no, I've been enjoying the reading at the moment. I mean, the Geiger stuff, the Ghost Machine stuff, the DC All In. I've been enjoying all of that, all of the things. Absolute, I liked. I don't know how long it'll last, but I know I've been really enjoying the reading over this last few months, and also reading the old stuff as well. I'm trying to catch up on old Daredevils and old Brave and the Bolds and old Flashes and all the rest of it. So I'll get there eventually. But there's the trouble if you've got 20 or 30 odd books coming out each month. Well, it's more than that, isn't it? If you're talking about 50 books a month you're reading, it's doing those and then trying to read the old stuff. There you go.
Cool. Rob, what read you this week?
A lot of contracts. Legal contracts.
He loves his contract.
UK legal contracts as well as US legal contracts. Yeah, no, I have so much contract reading right now that when I'm done with work, I've got 2 weeks worth of comics sitting up there because I just haven't had the bandwidth to do anything other than go sit down and watch TV and let my brain rot, because it's a lot.
When you read those contracts, though, Rob, is that to find if they're accurate? Is that what you're reading?
It's a mix. Yeah, it's a mix of both. So I manage a global team that does contract renewals, and while we have templates, there's a lot of customized elements that go into these various different language stuff. And while I'm not part of our legal team, I'm the first step. I do all the screening first to determine whether or not it's something that needs to be decided by legal, or whether or not it's something that can be done as innocuous. So there's a lot of these lawyers, like when you send a contract to another company, a lot of their lawyers will read stuff, and there's about a 50-50 mix. You get some who just kind of go, okay, cool. They just look to see if there's anything egregious that is brutal. And then there's other ones who seem to want to justify their existence by making red line changes, and they will red line every word choice just about, and where you go through it and you're like, the 100 red lines on one page, and none of them are substantial. They just chose to use this word instead of that word type of thing. And it's like, really, come on. So I do a lot of that stuff. I also do our first line passes at when there are special provisions of taking that request and converting it into a legalese language. so that way we can then provide it to the league if we need to. If it's either it can be done that way, or I have to send it to legal then to give it its final blessing. But it makes it much quicker if I've already got written out for them, and all they have to do is like approve or tweak it what I write, versus if I go to them and say, here's what we're asking, please write this. It's a difference between a 1 hour turnaround time and a 48-hour turnaround time. And so yeah, there's a lot of these different types of things. And then I also get a lot of questions where I'm the first step that people come to in the company when a customer is questioning something within their contract, or they're debating whether or not a customer can do something within the terms of the contract. I'm usually the first person they come to ask for an interpretation of that contract rather than going to legal, because again, I'm much quicker and easier to get to. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I do. Yeah. And of course, I'm getting more and more, because we're doing global stuff. I'm more and more learning the UK, how the UK legal system does its contracts versus our US side. They're very different, and not just because we tend to use certain different words or spell certain words differently. Although that is fun to watch sometimes when I write something on a UK document, and I then have to run it through the UK spell checker or whatever to convert everything into like words like license and stuff are spelled differently between us and you guys. So
you drop all the U's in most words.
Most of them, yeah. Yeah, definitely. We don't want the U in color and stuff like that. Yeah, no, that's.
No,
but like license, there's a difference between when we use a C and you use an S or something. I don't know. There's little things that are here and there, and
yeah, that sounds horrible. But
hey, it keeps me gainfully employed and able to buy expensive paper.
Yeah. I'm happy that it does that for you, and I'm also happy it's not me that has to read those contracts, because that sounds like hard work.
I'll tell you alone.
What the absolute worst element of it is, and some people have experienced it when I'm on shows and stuff with them, but my wife really gets the brunt of it, and that is when the real difference. We've all heard it where our parents used to tell us, "Hey, it's not what you say, but how you say it." It's very much, or it's not what you mean but what you say type of thing. It really is that when it comes to legal documents, it doesn't matter what you meant, but it's 100% what you say, what's written. And so you become super attentive to the minutia of what you say, and the precision of what you say, being very precise and not leaving things ambiguous. And so those become things that I'm constantly correcting certain things around the house. Oh, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, it's just my work coming home with me type of thing. Yeah.
I feel sorry for Mary on that one. Yeah, that's
has to be pedantic without really trying.
But at the same time, it's kind of cool because she works for the government and does in enforcement and a lot of other stuff, and does a lot of stuff of interpretation of state laws and stuff and how they apply to them and stuff. And so she has her own sets of quirky language and stuff that she's used to using and stuff. So sometimes we get along, certain things would do. So.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Tony, what read you this week? I think I know the answer.
Okay, so like I said, I watched more than I read. So comic wise, nothing. I'm about almost 2 months behind.
Okay.
I have been brushing up on my Dragons of Autumn Twilight for Mike's show tonight. Now, what wrote me this week, if that makes any sense?
Ooh.
I'm getting all the principal stuff done to write my first vampire western, even though mostly the story now. See, I was going to start with him already in the Old West, but now I'm going to start from the beginning because, if you start at one point and try to go back and do the original, backstory, that always works so well, So I will say this: the story starts. If you want to Google U.S. history, Garrett's Farm, 1865. It starts there.
I mean, you could always write it chronologically, and then if you feel like it fits better once you've written it all in a different order,
well,
then you can play around with it.
The original idea was to briefly talk about the guy and mention some stuff in his backstory, but I was going to create the short story of his origin for me, and I figured, what the heck, I might as well just tell the story. But I believe it starts, the exact date is Garrett's Farm, April 26, 1865 in U.S. history. If people know, you know what happened there. And we're going to go from there. And I'm going to go from there. And it'll be I'm hoping to write something really good that everybody wants to read. But like I said, the first part is more of his origin before he becomes a vampire. And then the rest, it'll transcend. He'll get to the Old West, and it'll go from there.
Okie doke. Sounds good. I'm glad you're starting to crack on with it. That's very promising. I look forward to it being finished and I can buy it. Let's put it that way. That'd be tremendous. I myself, I have read very little this week. I bought a few books, but I just for some reason didn't get around to actually reading them, except for House of Secrets 92, hence the Swamp Thing. I thought I'd give that an actual read, and then I thought, you know what, I want to watch that TV show again as well. Yeah, it is what it is, in so much as the actual Swamp Thing story is very short. Like, it's the first part of the book, but it's because it's an anthology series, and some of the stories are better than others. Even like back in those times, it's always been true with anthologies. Even the art in some of them is better than others. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah, it's a bit sad to say, really. I really should have cracked on with some more stuff.
So you didn't read Rockefeller, like you said when you was talking to the Australians?
No, I completely. Well, I've been out all day, so I couldn't do it today. Yeah, I've got it. I'm gonna read it. Just haven't got there yet. It is the way it is.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I think so. It sounds a lot of fun. Right, so that brings us to Mal question time. And the question today, because I went to a Transformers con, I thought it would be fun to ask the question, what sort of convention for one thing would you like to go to? Like one, because I'd never been to just a Transformers convention before. And it was an interesting experience. But I'll talk a little bit about that whilst you're thinking about it, because it's good fun. Let's play with the layout here, and I can embiggen myself. Yeah, I got this. I got Mind Wipe.
Oh, that's freaking cool. The bat.
Yeah, Mind Wipe was a favorite character of mine from the cartoon. It's only in the 4th season, which is, I think, 3 episodes long, 3 or 4. But he really took my imagination as a kid, and I was sort of obsessed with him. And then it came to the point where I could have bought a toy, which was pretty rare for me as a kid to go into a store and buy a toy. And I saw a Pretenders advert, which, if you know Transformers, you know the Pretenders are rubbish. They're awful. And I got suckered into buying that Pretender toy instead of Mind Wipe, which was there on the shelves. And I never saw it again, ever. So I never got the opportunity to buy it. And then today, my wife bought me Mind Wipe, which is really nice to make up for 30 years of grieving the loss of not buying it myself. Yeah. But yeah, I had a blast day. It was a really interesting experience because it was sort of quite a small con, but because it was Transformers centered, it was okay that it was small. Like, because everything was Transformers, so it felt like you had a lot of one thing. Have a quick look at some of the stuff I got. I met Nick Roach, who was one of the artists on Lost Light and More Than Meets the Eye, and he was selling little sketches that he'd pre-done, but he did sign it to me, which was funny when he asked me like what name to sign it to, and seeing his face. Of course, it's Doctor Von Hoot. Why wouldn't it be? Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I love this. It's really, really cool. His face is amazing. And then I spoke to a couple of artists that were there that were also on Transformers, but different iterations. I think Dreamwave was one of them, and both of them had never been asked ever to do Sea Spray, who is one of my favorite. Yeah, he's one of my favorite Transformers. I loved him as a kid. So they were really, really sort of happy to do a Sea Spray. It's
time you get to do something different. It's like, oh, I don't have to do another Optimus Prime or another
Megatron for like the millionth
another
time.
Devastator, another Soundwave.
Hey, I love Devastator.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they both joked with me, and their names are escaping me at the moment, which I apologise if they ever have the misfortune to see this. Where's the other one gone? Here it is. They joked with me. Because I got 2 pieces done of Sea Spray. In all likelihood,
hell yeah.
In all likelihood, I have the biggest collection of original Sea Spray art in the world because I've got 2 pieces.
He was a cool Transformer though, because he was a little bitty one. He was nice.
Yeah, I loved it as a kid. I used to play with that toy all the time. And
him and Beachcomber.
Yeah, I would say him and Beachcomber. Beachcomber was the one I remember. Was his distinctive speech.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when he showed him the first time. That's the way he talked. I was like, oh, I remember him.
So what are you going to do with that one? Trim it down and frame it.
I think I'll definitely trim it down. Just to get the sides. I'll get a
clean edge.
Yeah. But then we'll put it in a folder probably. I've got some artist folder type thing, which quite nice to look through. And yeah, that was. Sorry, say that again.
No, all I was going to say was, did you get the stuff that you got from Thought Bubble? Are you doing a separate video on that?
Probably there will be a video on the Transformers Con stuff because I shot a bunch of footage for it. Now, Thought Bubble, the reason I brought that up is I sort of screwed that up quite spectacularly. I went for a grand total of an hour to Thought Bubble.
So using spoons for the rest of the time, then?
Yes. So essentially, on the Friday night, I had a little bit too much to drink, and because I had been awake for 36 hours or something, I sort of slept through the entire day on the Saturday, so didn't go at all, and then woke up at about 6 p.m. when it closed. And immediately went back to the pub and sort of did it again. So yeah, I went for 1 hour and got a few. I did do everything I wanted to though in that 1 hour. I got 3 commissions, that 2 of which are coming right now. But you've probably seen the photos, but like these are awesome. I love these pieces. They blew my mind, honestly. The guy's super nice and super talented. I spoke to him a bit last year.
He had already done it before.
He did it already. I sent him the blanks, and yeah, he took care of it. And I'm going to get him to do loads of stuff for me now because like he understands Hoot. Is what the gist of it. He gets it. He understands the assignment, and he did it well.
And like you said,
Yeah,
copyright for Badger's mask, and then you can do Badger as well.
or
Right.
change the mask.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
the,
yeah, it's no shop for comics piece, but it's not bad.
no, true. The shop is awesome. This is his trade paperback graphic novel that he wrote and drew. His name's Kevin Wells. The Last Einingjar. It's about like Norse mythology, that kind of thing. It's very cool. Like I gave it a read on the train home and look at his art. He's awesome. Really great artist. So check him out on Instagram. I think I want to say his Instagram is KWiz. I want to say, but Kevin Wells anyway. So yeah, check him out. Awesome artist. Highly recommend. Would buy again. But yeah, that's my experience of Thought Bubble. Essentially, I had an absolute blast. It was great, but I didn't actually do the convention very well. But hey, you can't win the ball, can you?
No,
yes. There's always next year, isn't there? Yeah, that's the spirit. Let's go back to normal layout. So, what do you feel like could be a good convention of like one thing? Let's start with Mike.
Well, I think mine already exists. I just have never been, or they're just not everywhere. But I would like to go to a Stephen King convention, and I do know it exists. It's in Maine, and But I would like to go to that. But okay, the separate one is like they do have video game, cons. But I would like just specific systems, like NES only or Sega Genesis only, specific conventions.
That's an interesting idea. Yeah, that would do well as well. Like just Mega Drive and Genesis convention rolled into one. Tremendous. I'd go, honestly. That sounds great fun. How about you, Terry?
Well, I mean, the one I would like, the game already exists, but I would like it changed slightly. Well, changed quite a lot. I would like a nice Star Trek convention, but I would like it to be just straightforward. All the actors are there for you to get your stuff signed and all that kind of thing, but not be sort of attacked by everybody dressed up as all these Star Trek characters and stuff. And it really just to have a convention, a proper comic convention, just with Star Trek comics, if you like, because I only need the gold key ones now.
So basically, you want to ban cosplay. Is your
bang,
that's your position.
To say that's because to me, it just. I mean, I have been to a couple of Star Trek conventions, and that seems to be all it is. A few people sitting in the background, sort of, the sign off and stuff. I mean, I've got a few signatures from some of the actors, but from Voyager and Deep Space Nine, and Next Generation as well. I was lucky enough for Next Generation, a couple of actors, but the cosplay part of it just got on my nerves totally because they just seemed to get in. Everybody seemed to get in the way because the ones that were cosplaying didn't seem to be interested in any of the things that were going on. They were just getting in people's way. Anybody that wanted to go and buy stuff or wanted to go and get a signature from this person and everything else. But most of these cosplay ones, they didn't seem to have any interest in it. It was just a case of, they got dressed up. Yeah, okay. And it just, I don't know. But no, I just would like a straightforward, in the sense, I would like a straightforward Star Trek comic convention. Forget about all the rest of it. Forget what I just said about actors and artists and all the rest of it. Just a straightforward Star Trek convention, the Star Trek comics that you could go and look through and such. Because as I said, I only want the gold keys anyway. Yeah. Yeah. But now that's the only thing I can think of, to be perfectly honest.
Fair enough. So that's a great idea, Tate. I love that idea. Stuff like that's a great idea. Rob, any suggestions?
Yeah, well, obviously the first thing that first rolled into my mind was maybe a Nightmare Before Christmas Con, but I don't think that would really be all that much really there.
You've got
Maybe more
most.
Tim. It'd have to be more Tim Burton con, kind of all this different stuff. But the reality, the more I thought about it, so what I want is actually what exists. I just need to get. I've not gone to them a couple times. There's been a grilled cheese festival where
What?
it's nothing but like outdoor.
Where is
festival.
that?
Yeah,
Where
is
is
Is this California only?
It's the only place I've seen it, but yeah,
Damn it.
it's like a big outdoor festival where
Grilled
everything is
cheese
grilled
festival.
cheese based, different types of grilled cheese sandwiches and all kinds.
You
of
have my attention. I'm coming.
Right? You got all
and
the
the other,
attention. We
and
all
the other,
stand.
and the other one I've seen around here that I've meant to go to, but I haven't gone to, was the Bacon Festival. Both of these phenomenal sounding to me, and I would definitely need to get off my ass and go to them next time they come around.
Just don't look at the cholesterol.
Just
Yeah,
keep,
well,
keep,
on
keep
functions.
walking. Keep walking whilst you're there. It'll be fine.
Make sure you get your steps in. Yeah, but I mean, I'm so much. Oh, I'll combine the two even. Yeah, it just seems like a great. My sister went to the grilled cheese festival and told
Dang
me
it.
about it and said how much I missed it and stuff. And I said, well, shit. And I'm
Now you've
anxious.
spoken about food. I've changed my mind completely.
Right?
Different kinds of German sausage festival.
Well, yeah.
As well.
Just a sausage festival, so you can have all kinds of different sausages.
Yeah, exactly. Hundreds of them. Hundreds of them. I mean,
See, the grilled cheese works on many levels because
they do.
I could see people bringing, some expensive cheese and some briefcases,
Combining different things into your grilled cheese, like I
some
mean,
spices.
Yeah.
you throw like if you throw in some grilled salami in there with the grilled cheese with the right grilled cheeses and mixing different breads and all these different things.
Yeah.
You mix and match those. So a lot of different flavor profiles you can get based off of that. It's absolutely phenomenal.
There's hundreds of types of bread these
A
days.
nacho convention. It's nacho convention. It's my convention.
Yeah.
TM does have a good point, though. I approve of that joke, Mike. But TM has a good idea. I like nachos a lot.
Sausage festival is something.
I heard the other day that the UK is the biggest cheese producer, or not the biggest, has got the most varieties of cheese.
I can believe it.
So I have to come to the UK for the cheese.
I mean, yeah, we do like our cheese over here. It's sort of everywhere. Yeah, we're cheese people.
Any county or city has got a cheese named after it.
Yeah, pretty much. Tony, anything you want to see?
Well, when Terry mentioned Cheese Festival, my mind automatically went back to National Lampoon's European Vacation, where all Russ could find was TV channels with nothing but cheese. No, I think my mindset was almost like Rob. Rob mentioned Bacon Festival, and I was thinking bacon. And then for some reason, I went from bacon to James Bond because I'd love to see a 007 convention. But ultimately, my final answer is going to be anything that has to deal with the history of vintage arcade games, the stuff we grew up in the 80s.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if that was a thing. Like, I mean, that sounds like
it could very well be.
Close to Rob, actually, every year over in Seattle, they do I forget what it's called. It's called like the Monumental Video Game Convention or something like that. And they touch base on like arcades, pinballs, and then the early, console home-based systems.
Well, what made me think of that is I remember in the documentary, The King of Kong, they were doing some kind of show at I can't even remember the name of the place where Weeby went to that place where they were all congregating to try to beat the Donkey Kong score, and he did. And then Billy Mitchell sent in a video, but they were having like some big thing going. And
are you talking about Fuzzy's Arcade?
I don't remember the name of the place.
At the pizza place.
I'm sure there is a pizza festival somewhere.
Pizza
they made a big deal out of this. So they made a big deal out of this arcade, saying that this is where you go to get your scores and all that. But anyway, you'd have to watch the documentary.
Oh, it's a great doc. Yeah, that's a really good doc. Yeah. Okay then. So I myself, other than Transformers, which is great, Well, it would have to be either a Grease 2 or a Neighbours convention. It would. Look, you laugh, but there is so many.
I'm not against it.
So many actors from Neighbours. It would make sense. You'd have like just reams of them. And Grease 2, there isn't a lot of merch, so it's. I don't know what you could really do with that. Like, it's more like a viewing thing. But I don't know. They're my ideas.
You could have like sock hops. You could have like some car races. You could have like, you could have.
Now you're thinking.
Events. Be more of like an event, because okay, so I don't know if y'all have this over in the UK. I don't even know if they have this everywhere, but over here in Colorado, they start doing this.
In the corner reading excerpts from your book, couldn't you?
Yeah, just sit there. Yeah, they have the Grease 2 book reading.
Reading corner
live by the author, and then you could get like John Travolta to read. No, but they have damn, I know I forgot where I was going. I lost it.
Something that may not happen here. That's all. That's as far as we got. Like, it happens to me all the time, Mike. Mike, it happens to me all the time. I forget stuff mid-sentence. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Okie dokie. Well, we've run over quite a lot here, so shall we run through? Mike, what you got coming up?
In about an hour and a half, we're talking about some Dungeons and Dragons with Dragonlance. Part 2 of the talking about the first book. Hopefully, we finish a bit. If not, we're doing a part 3. But no, that's pretty much what I got going on. And then Sunday nights, me and Trev, and next week Stephen King.
Cool. Terry, how about yourself?
On Tuesday, 5:00 GMT, my Part 7 Superman 1963 Action Superman collection. Thursday or Friday, depending on when my parcel turns up, I'll do my new comic book day video. And I've done the scripts for another Wonder Woman one and another Detective Comics one and a Batman one. So I'm about 3 or 4. I haven't recorded them yet, but I've got the scripts for them. So I'm like 3 or 4 weeks ahead, thankfully. I'm sort of gradually getting there. But I keep saying I'm going to do a Star Trek one and see how anybody's interested in that. But I've got to get the Star Trek comics out. And they're all sitting on, there's 28 boxes, long boxes, and the 4 boxes I want are on the bottom. So it's finding the strength to move all those bloody boxes, to be honest, to get to the comics. Because I can write a script for the comics, that's easy. Because I just go on the website and do the script, but then I've got to get the comics out. So there's no point in doing a script without the comics. So I'm going to be doing that, but I'm hoping to do it because 2 people have asked me to do a Star Trek one.
And that's what I was talking. That's what I draw the blank on. Life-size Monopoly. Do y'all have that over there in the UK? This is an event-style thing where you go to a place. They have like a bar or a restaurant set up in there, but you go in and it's kind of like a carnival thing. You play Monopoly, but with you. It's not like a board game thing. It's like kind of like those escape room type things, or and they kind of have that like.
We have escape rooms, but life-size Monopoly sounds
it's recent.
Interesting,
the last 6 months, something like that.
The Tape Prime, I haven't got 28 long boxes of Star Trek comics now. There's 28 long boxes with comics in, and there's 24 of them are sitting on the 4 Star Trek boxes. But and it's to say it's getting the strength to move them. I'm getting old and my back's not that great.
Good point.
I'm gradually swapping the large comic boxes into small ones, but that's taking its time as well. So.
Okie dokie. Rob, what have you got coming up?
Well, Monday there'll be a mail call, that's for sure. The rest of the week is kind of I don't know if there'll be a Thursday video. I know there's not going to be an Only Slabs next week because we have American Thanksgiving, which is my Super Bowl of cooking time. So my barbecue channel may end up with a new cooking video. It pops up over there as we get ready. I got a 22-pound turkey ready to pick up on Monday. That's a fresh turkey. So now I got to get it prepped and ready to go. And we'll be smoking that, spatchcocking it and smoking it over pecan. It's gonna be absolutely fabulous, and I've got a recipe for a cranberry barbecue sauce to put on the side, which will be fabulous. And then we'll make, of course, some fresh sourdough bread and all the other fun stuff that goes along with it. Saturday, I'm going to a convention. For some reason, they decided at Fan Expo in the San Francisco Bay Area, the Thanksgiving weekend was a fabulous weekend for them to do a convention. And so they announce a bunch of guests, and it's always a question of how many of them will flake out because they want to spend time with their families versus actually show up. Fortunately for me, I don't care about most of the celebrities because I'm not going to pay $300 to have Hayden Christensen sign a photo. But the comic creators are different ball of wax. So I was debating whether I was going to go to this one or not because it's up in San Francisco and I hate San Francisco, but I got to go there on behalf of Comics Curing Cancer. There's several artists that have helped us out that are going to be there, currently scheduled to be there, as well as Big Time Collectibles going to be there. So I want to make sure I go out there, represent Comics Curing Cancer, and go and thank them personally for their contributions and assistance and stuff, and then try to line up some stuff for the next go round. So
Sounds
we'll
like
see
a plan.
That's my agenda this week. We'll be back again right after the holidays with new stuff.
That's what I thought was great with that. Chris went to that comic shop when that Francis Manapul, he signed, and then he just did a little head sketch on every book. He didn't even ask them to do it because Chris wasn't going to ask because he thought it was going to be charged. But he just did it. So it was brilliant. There were 3 head sketches on the three Rockefeller books, and that comic shop's what's it called? The book from that particular comic shop. He had that signed as well. They did, but he got that signed by both of them, by the writer. Was it Francis Manapul and Rob Lee? I think it was that were there.
Cool.
So, but it was all free. So it cost the petrol gas to get there and back.
Result. Tony, what you got coming up?
All right, so just shortly in a few hours, I'll be hanging out with Mike for the Quest to Korean as we talk about this. I'm going to drop a mail call Monday from Marcus, aka Circumstances. And then the rest of the week is to be determined. Like Rob said, it's American Thanksgiving. Live show to be determined next week. And because, life sometimes gets in the way. And other than that, I got some big news coming at the first of the year that I can't talk about until I get my daughter's permission. And but it's really cool, really big. And hopefully the next time I give y'all an update on the book that I'm writing, it won't be planning, but actually writing. So that's it.
Brilliant. I myself will have this recap video. I would say it's going to be a recap video, I think, of my experience at this TF Con. Like I did shoot a lot of footage, but it'll be like a montage type deal, I would think, with an intro and then me talking afterwards. That's my plan. Yeah, every movie needs a montage, right? Then probably we'll be back next week for more Parliament of Mowls, depending on what happens. Who knows? But yes, I feel like we've done good things here tonight. Thanks everybody in the chat. I believe now, Rob, I say something, you say something.
Well, actually, I would say I'd like to move that we adjourn Parliament.
Second.
This is where you would. You only need a
Do
first
we
and a second.
do?
So you first and a second. This is where you say There's a motion before Parliament. It's been seconded. Is there any discussion?
No.
Seeing that there's no discussion, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. Parliament adjourned.
Well,
Tremendous. And with that, I do declare this episode of Parliament.
And I don't really know.